graduated high school in 1949, I believe, and then 23 years later, she went back and got a nursing degree, and that was very impressive to see as a youngster, your mother going back to college. We didn't have a lot, we just had enough. My mom and dad came home, every night, and sometimes my mom would check the neighborhood and see who was in need. Elderly people who as a nurse, she wanted to make sure that they were administering their medicine properly, making sure that they would have a meal. And sometimes she would come home at 5 o'clock, we wouldn't see her till 7. So understanding working in the community, it's not all about having money, it's about giving people hope and giving people drive. She was the first humanitarian that I've ever experienced with my mother. She'd always tell me that you make time for people. I remember once after a ball game, I was rushing out of Carmine Auditorium, just trying to get back to the dorm and start the party and all that stuff. And I was signing autographs, but I was rushing through, and she pulled me over and she said, "Son," she said, "you have 10 seconds for everybody. Just take your time." And so that was a valuable lesson. She was the first humanitarian. My father was the first man that introduced me to what being an entrepreneur was all about. I don't think either one of us knew how to spell the word or really knew what it meant, but he was a hardworking man. And I got to be around 10 or 11. Obviously, my foot was growing every week. My legs were growing every week, and I would, start to ask my dad for basketball shoes. And I needed a new pair of Chuck Taylors, seems like every month. And I can remember going to him and saying, "Hey, Dad, I need another pair of shoes." And he took me outside, and he had a small little barn there, and he pulled out this brand new lawnmower. And he said, "There are your shoes right there." And he went on to give me a list of neighbors who needed their grass mowed. And that's how I was introduced to, financial well-being. We didn't have a lot, but I thought we were rich because my mom and dad came home now. We had food on the table. I had a paper route and a small mowing lawn. So that's how I was introduced to finances. I don't think we knew that much about taxes, but we knew a lot about teamwork, even before I was introduced to Coach Smith. My two older brothers were older than me, 7 and 8 years older than me. They had the majority of the tough chores in the house, mowing the lawn when I was a small kid, and doing things outside. And my only job was to take out the trash. My mother made me feel like if I didn't get it out at a certain time, that the whole family was going to die. So I knew I had to get that trash out Thursday night and get it out of there. I didn't want to be the one to cause everybody to get sick. But teamwork is imperative as you move into financial stages of your life, and that's always going to be a challenge, regardless of how much money you have or how much you achieve over time. It's a challenge. And it's a struggle sometimes. It reminds me of, when a child is born, you put them on the floor and, they just look around and they can't do anything. The next thing you know, they're up on all fours. And the next thing you know, they're walking. It's all good. The next stage, they have a really tough time of letting go of their mother's hand at kindergarten and nursery. It's a challenge, and it's a struggle sometimes. And then you move on to the next stage of your life, and you start to point to your direction. You're in junior high, high school, you start thinking about college, you start pointing in your direction that you want to go, and that's a fun stage. And then you get to college. Your own mom and dad dying, you don't have any worries about paying for anything. You start to get relationships and join fraternities and sororities and make those connections. find your wife, and then you possibly get married right after college. And then you move into that next stage. You've prepared yourself for, to get that great job, go out, get that interview, get the great job, get a good paying job. Your wife gets a good paying job. And then you start to get into the most fun stage, and that's the acquiring stage. When you start to acquire things. And this is where you really got to watch yourself with your finances, because you really have to learn, and I tell this to young kids all the time, is you really have to live within your means. You have to understand taxes. You have to understand your interest rate on your credit card and what that means. And you have to understand, particularly in the NBA, this is a very short career. You could get injured tomorrow. So, unless you really educated yourself, I'd love to see student athletes, because so many of our kids, and even when I was playing, they had their mind set on a higher goal, and they neglected to get the basic fundamentals of the infrastructure to maintain that. So after you acquire all these things, then you get to a stage it's not that fun, and that's the maintaining stage. And you've joined the country club, you've done all those things, but it all circles back to being a challenge, and that's always going to be there for you. I work with some NBA players on player development stuff, and I try to convey to them that you didn't grow up like this. I hate to see young kids get a contract, and the first thing they do is they go out and buy 5 Mercedes-Benz. And they think they're making $1 million, but they don't understand after taxes, that's only about $490,000. So it's imperative in our community that we teach our kids early, teach them about budgets, and teach them about living within your means. I played for a great college coach who understood that, and he knew that making it to the NBA was the easy part. If you didn't know how to read your contract, if you didn't know how to balance your checkbook, if you didn't know what the interest rate on your credit card is, those were important things. And unfortunately, in the NBA and other entities, when you retire, there's a lot of things that come with retire, unfortunately. Sometimes the IRS is knocking on your door. Sometimes the unexpected things. Tuition. I two daughters to college, and as soon as you think college is over, you pay tuition, and you don't realize that after tuition, as a parent, you move into the co-signing stage. And, it's never over. But finances are things that trickle down. If you're somewhat financially sound and your credit score is good, you're healthier. You're a healthier person. And if you're struggling a little bit, or if you're spending outside of your means, it's always a challenge. You get sick, you get stressed. Your kids catch on to that vibe, and then they become worried about mom and dad. It's a big time trickle down effect. And so when you're dealing with finances, you have to listen, learn, and try to understand and put forth some effort. No one expects us to be tax attorneys, but you do expect us to know what you want, know what your goals are. And it requires a lot of committing to the philosophy. When I went to Carolina, I didn't understand everything that Coach Smith wanted, but I had to commit to something, even without understanding it. So when you talk to your financial advisor and they're telling you, to do one thing, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that, you gotta really take some time to understand, what the play is. And sometimes listening is the most important thing. Coach Smith was really big on listening, because when you listen, you get the details. And when you get the details, you're able to put forth a plan, and then when you plan, you have to execute. That requires patience. and a good amount of listening. It kind of reminds me of a kid that was about 12, and he was pretty crafty, an entrepreneur at that age, and delivering papers, and just a savvy kid. And one day he was walking home from school with his friend Tom, and he's like, you know what? They walked past the church, and Joey realized that he had made a confession a long time, so he went to the father and he said, "Father, forgive me for I've been a little loose with the girls at school. I'm trying to get someone to go to the prom with me, and I'm having a tough time, and I think I've made some mistakes." And right away, my father said, "Is that you, Joey?" And he said, "Yes, Father." He said, "Who have you been fooling around with? Who have you been bad with? Is it Mary McLean?" And he says, no, I promise I wouldn't tell. I can't tell. I promise not to. And the father was getting a little irritated, and he said, "Well, you know, I talk to a lot of people here, and so I'm going to find out eventually." He said, "Was it Mary Johnson?" He said, "No, I can't tell you. I really apologize. I told her I wouldn't. It ruined her reputation." So the father took one more guess. He said, what about Jamie Mansfield?" I said, "Jamie?" He said, "No, Father, I promise I can't tell." So Father was really frustrated. He said, "Well, you know what? You're not going to leave here unpunished." And he said, you get out of here, and you will not be altar boy for 2 months." And he said, "Now you get out of here and you behave yourself." Joey exits the church. His friend Tom is waiting for him. And Tom is eager to know what happened. What happened? What did he say? You've heard this about it. And Joey says, "Don't worry about it. I got 2 months vacation and 3 new leads." Listen, you get the detail. Able to take that information and execute it and be successful. So, you know, I started out, you know, at Carolina. That's all I wanted was a scholarship. That was my first introduction to understanding finances, really. I had 2 older brothers who went to NCCU, and my parents were putting them through college. And I was at the boys club playing one afternoon, and I heard the word scholarship. And so I went and looked at my last report card. I think I was like a C+ student at the time. I said, "I'm not sure that this is going to get me a scholarship." But I had no idea that you could get an athletic scholarship. And that was, in my life, the first time that I said, I can make a contribution here. I can avoid my parents from having to pay my college tuition. And that's when I really got into basketball, like seriously, because I had to get that scholarship. And when I got it, I was, you know, extremely happy. Whatever little bit of money my parents were saving up for me, that was something they could use to enhance their lives and pay bills and things of that nature. So that was the first time I really knew what money was all about when I got a free ride to college. And that's all I wanted. I had not thought about the NBA. I hadn't thought about anything. I broke my ankle my freshman year. I thought my career was over. The NBA was a bonus. It was a bonus. I had a great college coach who really put emphasis on life. He was a great basketball coach, but he put emphasis on life. And he said, whatever you achieve in life, that's your platform. And when you get that platform, the only thing you're obligated to do is give back. And so when I was asked to come and went to the reception last night, I could see that teamwork working, because it does take a village to raise a community. It really does. And Coach Smith was really adamant about, you know, using your platform. He didn't care if you were Michael Jordan. I think he liked Chuck Duckett more than anybody. It did not matter to him, and that's where you get the base for empowering people and giving people a little push. And that's all they need. Everyone hasn't been exposed to finances. I wasn't. everyone wasn't exposed. I had to learn how to budget. You know, I had to learn how to look ahead. I had to learn about taxes and insurance and, you know, how to invest for the future, because in the NBA, it's a very short career, very short career. So teamwork is imperative, and it's key. You know, another thing the coach used to tell us all the time, you know, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep, how much you save. You think about your kids, and you think about, you know, college, and you think about, you know, when you retire, when you think about insurance, if someone's going to get sick. There's certain things you got to have in place to live I'm not talking about a wealthy life, because you can live wealthy just by having good credit, by not ever having liens on your house, by understanding what a budget is. I mean, those kids sound like adults to an extent, because we like to buy toys, and we like to spend and do things. So, but you can learn a valuable lesson from children. My kids are 26, our kids are 26 and 24 now. And I'm starting to lean on them for information. My youngest daughter she's a financial auditor. She does things. And my other one is very involved in digital marketing and things like that. So I'm hiring them. You know, I'm gonna get some of my tuition money back. Hope you get some of yours too. But you know, this Financial Pathway is an amazing program. I read about Mrs. Graves, the first client that you ever had, 92 years old. She's still a client. Those are the type of things that really make you feel good. I mean, we all want to make money. We all want to bask in our success. But giving back is really the only thing that makes you feel good. It really is. Or going to spend some time with grandma on the weekend or something. You know, I've started to take a homeless person to lunch once a month. Just whoever comes up and says going to have $1 or something, they come on the street. And get to know people, and get to enroll people. And that's a major process, is enrolling people into what's possible in their lives. And I want to thank Financial Pathways for what you do. I wish I need to introduce you to the MBA program. I really do. Okay. So I know this is a short lunch, but I wanted to say thank you for having me, and understand that this is a lovely organization. I'll be talking a lot about it, and you guys do a great job in using your event before. So I know I'm supposed to open it up for a little Q&A now. So maybe some of you got to get back to work on your budgets. So, any questions? If not, well, you might think. Yes, sir.
LeBron James, Michael Jordan. You got it.
LeBron James or Michael Jordan? Well, I don't think LeBron is a billionaire yet, so I'm going to go with MJ. Michael made more money off of his selling shoes this year than he made his entire career. And you know, and he's very savvy, very crafty, and he understands it. Yes, sir.
I should have looked it up, but what was your record against Wake Forest? Do you remember whether you lost any games?
I don't remember losing to Wake Forest, but actually, I'll
I can check you on that.
One game when Sam Perkins was out, and we couldn't handle John Stone at the time. He was the center. He got, you know, we used to handle him quite easily. Fact check. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Well, Angela and I, we have two beautiful children together and a healthy relationship, and it's a good thing. I have no regrets. I have no regrets. Thank you. Guys, that's easy, no questions, huh? Yes.
When you're talking and mentoring the young athletes, what do you tell them about FPP and about
Well,